1. Rent. A big question from new investors is how much should I rent a property for? Seasoned investors sometimes use the 1% rule, which states that the monthly rent should be at least 1% of the purchase price. For instance, if you purchased a house for $200,000, you would need to charge at least $2,000 for rent. This, of course, isn't always true for investors, and some will settle for a slightly lower return. In order to make sure that a potential property can receive that kind of return, see if you can get rental estimates for similar properties in the area. You can charge slightly more or less than what's listed, but it does give you a ballpark number. 2. Fixer-uppers. One of the biggest mistakes that new real estate investors make is buying a fixer-upper. If the advert says the property needs a lot of TLC, just move to the next house. You may fall for an amazing deal, only later to find the house missing interior walls, requiring new plumbing, etc. There are few worse feelings than realizing that your cash cow is actually a money pit. The exception to this rule is, of course, if you're knowledgeable about home repairs. If you are good at extensive handyman skills or know someone who does, you might be able to deal with these extensive repairs better. But as a general rule, it's going to be less of a headache to just purchase a house that's already in workable condition. And they're out there. So in the meantime, do your best to resist the allure of a fixer-upper. 3. Vacancy. If you don't have paying tenants, your investment property's not good for much. You want to make sure that your property is attractive not just to any tenant, but to good tenants who pay on time. Depending on your location, some places just tend to have lower vacancy rates, such as San Jose, California, and Fort Collins, which were rocking a 0.4% vacancy rate in 2020. You can do some research on the neighborhood you're looking at, but when it comes right down to it, spend time driving around the streets near your potential property. Simply looking at the level of care given to the houses in the surrounding area can give you a good idea of which houses are vacant and which are not. 4. Can you handle being a landlord? When you start buying investment properties, you need to take some time to think seriously about your ability to manage your properties. It's a tough job being a landlord, tougher than most people think. And I've seen many investors become overwhelmed by the time it takes to be a good landlord. Fun fact, be on the lookout for this kind of investor. They sometimes burn out under the weight of their landlording duties and just sell their whole portfolio at once, and it's usually a good time to swoop in and buy. But the point is that not everyone is cut out to be a landlord. It's an intense and time-consuming line of work, especially if you already have a day job. For this reason, I recommend getting a management company to do this work for you. You will probably spend 9% to 11% of the rent on this service, but they will take care of the tenant's needs and collect the rent. And in the unfortunate event that a tenant needs to be evicted, they'll help handle that process too. Time is often more important than money, and letting go of this stress gives you the freedom to pursue additional investments. 5. Keeping track of repairs. Since you're making income from this investment property, you'll be expected to pay income taxes, but the good news is that rental properties offer some great tax benefits. Whether you're hiring someone to make a repair, paying interest on the mortgage, or simply driving to your property, there's a wide range of potential deductions. However, you'll need to make sure you keep track of these expenses, which means receipts on the off chance that the IRS comes knocking. To get the full value of your investment property, you should be making the most of your tax deduction opportunities. This is another perk of using a management company. They'll keep track of all of your rental expenses and send them to you in a nice document during tax season. Once again, the amount of time this saves you is worth the money. When scanning neighborhoods for your first rental, there are a few specific requirements you should be looking for. In a nutshell, you want a house that requires low maintenance, has limited vacancies, and allows you to have a good rent-to-value ratio.